Hello guys and welcome back to GPS with our Sweden playthrough. Now, just as we have found our ways out of the EU, looks like the UK has found its way back in to the EU, so that's quite interesting. Regardless, as you may know from the last episode, we had a fun numbers bug where our growth was at 180% due to our tanks industry. This doesn't translate really to the population at all, and it really kind of hurt inflation. Now, I had to lock inflation in order to stop that from doing something. The growth has fixed itself, and I don't know, like, if I can unfix this inflation rate. Like, if I just set it to 0, is that going to cause it to end up resetting? Or is there no way to, do I have to always manually set the inflation now? I don't know. We did survive what would have been a game-ending bug, however, at the very least. And now we just have to figure out what to do about this inflation, I suppose. Growth is back to normal and is now shrinking a percentage of the newest amount because it's the new year and there's not a lot of stuff that's growing. We are not really able to make a lot of stuff in terms of building because we're building so much energy. So if I went to environment and tried to construct, say, some of these capture points, you see we only have 2,300 manpower. That's not really a lot. And I keep adding more and more hydro as time goes on because our energy requirements have been skyrocketing. I will throw another 100 of this CO2 air filtration in there, try to go 0.4 megatons on both of these. This will definitely help the CO2 emissions. It should also help our fuel sector. And then separate to that, I'm also going to go into taxation, into the income tax, and I'm going to lower the low bracket income tax down to 2%. So that's going to help me. Those two things combined are going to be a big thing to help me raise my popularity. This will give more money to the average person, the consumer, the poor one, which is maybe not average, I suppose. While we are almost at 5% finally on the tax on company turnover and industrial pollution, I've just decided to keep getting up and up and up as time goes on anyway. Our company tax income has doubled, because this is where all the money, really, of that number bug has gone into. It has doubled our company tax income and probably had a good effect on the Social Security payments as well. So we just have all of this money. For some reason, now, I don't even like debt, right? We just have all of this money. A budget excess right now of 170 billion. It's gone up like threefold, as you can see, with the new GDP, because it's a percentage of the GDP, and this has stayed really high. So at this rate, we're going to pay off the rest of our public debt by next year. Weird way for that to happen, but hey, look, we have 10.5% positive growth right now. Purchasing power, environment. It says the economy would lose from lowering taxes. That's weird. If the lower population pays less taxes, then they'll spend on the economy. So that's very strange, but highway toll is being threatened by a terrorist threat. We're getting money coming in from the millionaires. I thought I asked for that a while ago. We have money coming in from the millionaires, which is great. Forgot that I asked for that. Company turnover is progressing. Family unification has gone to the strictest setting. Apparently, wealthy migrants are getting rid of non-family members. Our immigration rate is higher than it's ever been partly because I left the EU and the Schengen area, and got rid of all the no visas. So everyone needs a visa now except Russia, where it's a little bit different. Honestly, I'm tempted to just like even take Russia. Now, they might not necessarily do good things with this. There's quotas. I might just say visa required. I'm curious to take, now that I'm out of the EU and the EU members don't like me as much as they did anyway, maybe I can just make a lot of the world like me. I'm not sure. But yeah, we closed the borders, so no one's allowed to leave anymore. Once you're Swedish, you are Swedish. This is really good for our population, which has a growth rate that has not just doubled, but like doubled from the beginning of the game. So we went from like 0.92 after making abortion not legal on demand. It's not fully illegal, but it's just partially illegal. And that got it to 0.92 from like 0.5. And now it's at 1.87. No, growth. 1.70 because of, I guess, this immigration thing where population will still come, but they will never leave unless they leave illegally. And the illegal immigrants is starting to kind of flatlined there a little bit, which is pretty good. Now, that population boost is nice. It's not everything we were looking for, but it is nice. I can go ahead and invest up to max stars right here. The rest of culture, because this is something that will contribute over the long term. We have good culture. This is all going well. I'm curious. America, what do you have? You are... I'm a monarchy. Wow. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. And I'm a parliamentary form of government, so America's got universal suffrage. I am thinking of liberalizing in that path there. There you go. We got some happiness. Happiness increase in Sweden. I wonder how happy the population is. But universal suffrage, everybody's all for it. I think I'm going to go for that. Universal suffrage. So we'll have what they have. So instead of the parliament, the people, which is good because the people, it's easy to keep them liking me than the parliament. I'd rather be full dictator or like full democracy personally. So I'll go full democracy this time around because I don't want to become dictatorship Sweden. I'd rather win my elections than force my position pretty much. And then out of curiosity, I suppose, how happy is everybody? Even with all the things I'm restricting, our population hasn't really moved in happiness. It's like 0.01 lower. However, we are number 8 and not number 6 anymore because some others kind of in that range as well. Norway getting ahead of us. I'm not trying to become the happiest nation on earth. Mostly just curious. Now, I am planning on militarizing pretty soon. So I am curious, how do we compare in terms of that? Defense, military power index. So we've gone up in the military power index by about 500-600 there and 1 position, getting just above Poland. That's really interesting because in real life, Poland's militarizing a lot. All I've really done is order a little bit of equipment and recruit commandos from a very small amount to like 1,000. But I want to militarize the whole thing. I want to get our national production going. Even if that is kind of what caused the bug. I want to get soldiers that are worth a damn. I mean, how much infantry does Poland have? 120,000. That is insane. Hey, we infiltrated this new terrorist group. Mark the day, January 13th. I probably won't remember, but we'll try to remember. Get rid of them. Belgium asked to meet with me. I had accepted it. They wish to purchase natural gas from me, of which I am already exporting more than I produce, but I mean, this will still stoke the economy anyway. So I'm going to have to ask for something more like, let's say 500. Let's be realistic here. All right, we're in a much better area here already. I think 500 is what the Americans are giving me for this. Anyway, so 490 for the Belgians, that works. Don't know where we're getting the rest of the natural gas from, but it does tend to increase the total world amount of oil, gas. That stuff is shared in this game as a reminder. That's why you cannot make beyond like 5 in one region. It just starts becoming shared. We infiltrated another terrorist group, and I've gone ahead and lowered my amount of agents per network to 25, so I could double the amount of networks, including the UAE, Qatar, Oman, Liberia, and Eritrea, just to get some more potentially interesting ones. Liberia is mostly just there as a meme for Supreme Ruler for the rubber. Everyone else is there because they had some provable amount of oil, although these ones, Middle Eastern ones, are a lot further from me, mind you. I feel like they're more likely to give me something to work with money-wise or like proof-wise than over here, but something like Qatar over here would be so easy. I mean, you'd have to deal with multiple foreign military bases being here, but that's all right. Take this over. You got an island filled with oil and a nice little spot. Sweden colonizing. Now, of course, we have to actually militarize for that first, and I want to get this back up to 100 before I start going crazy with that again. Conveniently, we have no more conspiracies in our country whatsoever. Not one. Well, that's pretty awesome. I'm going to assume we didn't start making a bunch more plastic waste, but the plastic packaging tax is worth an insane amount more. 11,000. I assume that has something to do with the tank industry ballooning and not our own plastic. Our generation of trash did skyrocket a lot. I wonder if this has something to do with me leaving the EU. Well, it's good in that I can tax the hell out of it. That's where a lot of income is coming from as well. We're continuing to infiltrate. It's only been a couple of days, so nothing really to do there. I wanted to get rid of this tourist tax on entering the territory. It started at $10. It's down to 7 because that's just scaling. I don't know if we can ever get rid of the damn highway tolls because it's scaling with dollars and there's no like, hey, get rid of this button. Don't quote me on this, but I think my employer social security payments literally just went from 40 to 70 right here. This number says billion since I last looked at it. And yep, 170, was it that high? I'm not even sure, but I don't remember it being that high. Their demands. Okay, all these religious sects that I banned are getting mad. What a surprise. The fight on terrorism is fully funded. I could continue to fund cybersecurity cryptography. That's pretty expensive. It's not a lot of my current budget, so I think I'll go ahead and do that. We are infiltrated. We haven't done an awareness of cybersecurity thing since the beginning of the game, so let's go ahead and run another one. It's pretty cheap. Industrial pollution tax going through. Cyber awareness campaign. There's also this right here where this is 2 billion, this is 8 billion. Cyber protection. We have the bronze. The bronze was clearly not enough to prevent what we dealt with. Let's try upping it to silver. 3 months, 6 months. Yeah, let's try upping it to silver. It'll take 3 months. Cyber protection engaged. That's more money spent. And then hopefully that's good. I could go for the max. I just don't want to spend too crazy just because I have money generation. Because I would like to see 1 year and then we pay off the rest of this debt. Is that actually necessary? No, but spending a lot all at once in this game is never a good idea. Hey, some of the hydroelectricity finally finished. You know, I think I'll go ahead and dismantle this fossil energy. I'm sure it would make population happy. Speaking of, look at this, purchasing power. This is the law on income tax just passed. +8, there you go, we're at the top. The economy's not happy for some reason, but this means I can do some militarizing. So, the most obvious thing, I bought this 33 to get this 277 up to 100, 300, but that didn't really work out. So, an obvious thing to do, especially because this is the sector that went crazy anyway, would be to order another 77 at whatever price that they will actually want for it. Just get any price and just give me 77 of them. The delivery date would be 2028. That's crazy, but it might help the sector get going a little bit more. An order that's a bit more than twice what I had ordered before. And then there's cannons, which I'm going to order 91 of, and it comes out to still being cheaper than those 77 tanks. We're going to order that, distribute among all bases, because I had ordered 9 originally of the tier 2 to get that up to 100. Instead, we'll do 91 to get up to rank 3. These have better accuracy, they have better range, they have the same defensive capability, but these ones don't need missiles. They need mortar rounds, of which we have a lot. We have a heck of a lot of these, so that's no problem. We do make our own as well. 61, 150 is what we have. How cheap or expensive is this? This can get the economy going as well. It's a very, very cheap price. The production capacity is just not really there yet, so I'll just order 850 to start, to get that up to a cleaner number right there, and that should hopefully be nice. Missiles, we could try to get up to a cleaner number as well. Let's say 70. That's not bad. The price for this really isn't as bad as I thought it would be. Oh, this is in the millions. Right. All right, well, let's order 70. That'll actually get done real quick. Our production of that looks a lot better than of some other things. What was the price of this in again? It was a much more feasible amount. Yeah, this is just in normal dollars. So ideally, I'm trying to get things up to just, you know, just for my brain organizational purposes, whatever our current thing is, I'd like to get it up to some big round numbers unless we advance again, in which case, there we go. We cannot make anti-missile batteries, so there's nothing for me to really do there. Missile launchers, however, so right now we're going to have, in terms of missiles, we're going for 300. So at least another 20 missile launchers could be good. That's not necessarily the best, right? Maybe, in fact, I want this many. It's just it would take longer for it to be delivered. I'm trying to start with small amounts. so that we can build up the actual industry capacity and go from there. So order 20, get to 3. It's like a 10-to-1 ratio. We're going to need better than a 10-to-1 ratio when stuff actually starts flying. We can't make our own satellites, which is sad. We don't need it. We just want the actual basic things. We'll have 100 cannons. We'll have 30 missile launchers of the newest stuff, right? I'm ignoring the old 41 of the old cannons. There's these tanks. I could dismantle them easily, like these old things. I could use them. I don't think I can sell them to the black market, which is very sad. Or I can give them to an active conflict. I'm going to order 50 helicopters. This is probably one of the biggest things. 1.6 billion, 50 helicopters. It'll take like a year or a couple to get delivered, but 50 helicopters, and that will double our fleet from these rank 2 ones. They'll be even better, much faster. They'll have more defensive capacity. We have 5 of each kind of drone. Drones are good for a very different kind of conflict, but they can certainly be useful. They cost in the millions as well. What if I ordered just like 20? Then we'd have 25 of these ones. Even that is a lot of money. Go ahead and do that. This is quite a big series of orders that I am doing. This is just quantity. There's also military education and training that is very expensive. I'll go ahead and get 1 star on that as well to try to get some quality in here as well. We might get some warmongering popularity debuffs, not to mention the budget is not going to be very happy from this. But I am still increasing some taxes, as we know. That is hurting like the rest of my economy. So managing growth at the same time is definitely going to be an interesting task. Submarines are super expensive, but I'll go ahead and order 4 of them to get our total number of the current generation up to 5, just like we have 5 of the old generation. We, at some point, would like to have a surface fleet. If we're going to be going overseas, we need a surface fleet, right? Unfortunately, I cannot seem to make these ones on my own, so that'll wait. I'm mostly just focusing on the things that I can make by myself. Then we have fighter planes rank 2. We have 60. We used to be able to make those by themselves. Now we can make rank 3. We actually sold a fighter plane at some point to someone. I think I'll order 40 to get the total amount of all of them up to 100. Because if we have ships coming, we're definitely going to want planes, among other things. So 40 planes, that's another 5 billion. This is going to take a lot of money. I'm just really doing this because this number bug that's giving me all this money is going to kind of allow me to do that. Now, that's already quite a lot, but one more thing we want to address for sure is equipment for infantry. And ideally, that infantry is going to come from Sweden. There you go. We could make quite a lot of it. I'm going to start by making 68,000 of it. That will get our total amount of equipment up to 100,000. I assume it doesn't go and like get consumed by the creation of new infantry. I assume it's just there and serves as like an upper limit. I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it works. So we're going to make 68,000. That doesn't cost as much. It will cost a little bit higher because our industry is going to try to negotiate with us and not actually make things at our price, which means you'd always be buying your own stuff for more than you sell it to somebody else, which is really stupid and annoying. Because this is just probably because it's doubling, but we can like double the career soldiers here. I'll go ahead and just do that as well. We'll double the career soldiers because we're getting more equipment on the way anyway. So we have a mass militarization, and I'm going to have to deal with potentially some fun reactions to all of this sudden militarization. You know, I think I read this wrong earlier. Our policeman at 1.89 is not better than the average EU. It's half the average EU. So we don't have a lot of police officers per our population. Well, I raised it from like 18k to 20k. Let's go ahead and get that up to 25k to give this a better capita. Get closer to the EU average, at least, if not the world average. Liberia definitely shoots that average up. The EU is fair enough to base it off of. Our neighboring countries are not very security heavy. Security tends to result in some anger when I do stuff like this, but it is what it is. We'll get the industrial pollution tax continuing to go up little bit by little bit, generating more and more money. Not that it really compares to everything else that's been going. Company turnover, I will get to, ooh, wow, this is worth a lot more now. I will get it to 5%, and then I do plan on leaving it there, but since we make so much extra money already anyway, but I decided to finish getting it to that goal to not let this bug completely change what I am doing, and then I still have some ways to lower the low bracket income and probably middle bracket after that. Among other things I plan to tax, like change taxes on, like what if I just got rid of the vehicle registration tax. Well, the people would love it. The parliament would not. So I would want to do this little bit by little bit, but I do believe they would appreciate it. Well, whatever hits I would have taken for militarism, with the liberties, militarism, that didn't change a whole lot because of employment. Since it's our industry, I guess, employment, which unemployment's getting worse, so I don't know why they're happy. But also because I gave them the right to universal suffrage. So right now we should be presidential, that's right, and no longer parliamentary. But why are we a monarchy? I don't know. Oh, God. All right. The primaries have just begun. Parties to know who will run for elections. Your popularity level among our members is excellent. You should present yourself as a candidate. Yes, naturally. Now I'm just going to accept whatever price. Like, they came back with higher prices. But I don't really care what the price is because, again, all of this is just going to go directly into my economy. So even if it is an inflated price, it is still beneficial, especially because I own parts of all of these industries. And just separate to that, my taxes are kind of high anyway. We can get our military sector definitely rolling now. Oh, I see. I think because I changed the form of elections that there's going to be an election sooner. Well, that'll be a fun little challenge to do. I get to run for my own election. Did that change anything else? The mandate is still unlimited. Oh, God. All these contracts are accepting. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, my God. Our budget excess. What is going on? We have riots. The budget excess is in the trillions. There's an electricity shortage. I'm so confused. What is going on? What is this number? This is in the billions. 100 billion, 1,000 billion, million billion. Like, I don't even know what number this is. That's how, what happened? Our growth went up to 900%. I'm assuming this has to do because of the arms contracts. So let's just go to industry. This is 71.2% of our economy. And is it the tanks again? Well, it's definitely gone up. I don't know if it's just the tanks, but it's definitely gone up. What is one of the other ones? Like missiles? I think it might be seeing an increase. Missile launchers? I don't think so. Like, it's really primarily this one thing. Helicopters. For some reason, that's just broken, and it's gonna stay broken. So I guess, unfortunately, oh gosh, the tanks, the inflation, it looks like it's always gonna be fixed now, by the way. It doesn't look like I can change it. It'll just always be fixed. Unfortunately, that's not gonna change. It's not gonna fix itself. So we have to kind of stick with that because now we've gone from 180% growth to 900% growth. We have 99.58 of the world's GDP. What on earth, dude? This is insane. Hey, we got first prize for a comic book festival. This is where that culture funding comes in right there. I'm going ahead. I'm upping the electricity construction. Hydroelectricity is getting up to $2.99 now. It's almost up to 100. It's almost there. The leader of Ireland wants to meet with me. You can't play this game without God and Spy, guys. If you ever wanted to play this game, just note, unless you have God and Spy, do not bother. Because look how broken it is getting already. It's funny that Denmark dislikes me, by the way. I wonder why they dislike me. Now that we're not in the EU, it's probably a big part of why. But now, I guess I just have so much infinite money that if I really wanted to, I could just start doing stuff. Housing renovations, global warming. Yeah, I'm building energy. That's what we need the most. Happiness declines. Why does wrong button. Why does happiness decline? Life, health, gross national happiness. It did go down a little bit. I gave them civic liberties and they got unhappy. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it looks like the equipment for infantry is not based, like it doesn't get consumed. I don't know how it interacts with reservists though, but surely having an excess is always going to be a good idea. Industrial pollution tax going up. Dude, I don't even understand if I should keep raising this. Oh my good gosh. Oh my good gosh. Oh my good gosh. Yeah, anything that benefits from the wealthy, anything that benefits from companies has started making an insane amount of money. I'm not even sure what to do about that. Well, the good news is, look, we've reached 5% company turnover. Guess I'll leave that alone. I don't need more money. The game is bugged out so hard that I'm essentially just going to have infinite money. Yep, industry's now 74% of our GDP. I'm amazed it's only that. You could see our industry GDP right here. We are definitely raising the world average, and the profits, it's mostly profits. It's not generating employment. It is 100% of my income tax. Incredible. It must be rounded up, I assume. And we infiltrated the jihadist caliphate. Great. I know it's been almost a month since we infiltrated one of these first ones. Well, the leader of Ireland is here to meet with me. He wishes to purchase natural gas. Okay, everyone wants to buy my natural gas. Which... Alright. Not that I make enough, but... Let's try, like, 510 again. Are you the same one that bought it from me already? Was that you? 500 down to 595. Sure, let's accept that. Was that you? I'm getting kind of confused now. If I go to actions, no, if I go to contracts, and we have natural gas. It was Belgium. Belgium was the one. Because of this industry spike, our waste generation per day is up to 48,000. 48,000. That's insane. I'm sure the waste generation thing is not happy anymore. Yeah, look, see this? This is all me. We're generating all of this waste because of that industry GDP. And the craziest thing is, there's no population involved in it. I have 442. Let me repeat that. I have 442% of the total industry in the world. And I'm telling you, man, it is literally entirely because of the tanks and armored industries, which is now rounding up to 100. It's just this one. The other ones aren't doing it, just the tanks. I don't know if it's tanks in this version of the game or just tanks in this specific save file, but it has gone insane. Sad face. An infiltrated agent was murdered. Well, we're going to have to re-infiltrate. The rest of you, except Jihadist Caliphate maybe, I will set to dismantle because I'm just, I'm hoping. You could also get 2,000 agents on natural territory instead. National territory, I feel like that might be a good idea. And maybe 750 cyber analysts. I don't really know that we need like a fuck ton of cyber analysts. You know what I do know that we need? We need employment, because all the GDP spikes in the world, but none of them are helping employment. Still, we're militarizing, we're spying. It's going interesting. Definitely interesting. But we are out of time for this episode, so I'm going to end this one here. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.